I always, since I was a boy, had a fascination for fast horses and big trucks. This was a day in a truck. After an already long working day in western Wyoming, I was on my way home in a 26-wheeler. I was just a few miles north of Palisades Reservoir in Idaho, and suddenly I felt the truck jerk. Now, that instantly puts you on the alert. I looked all around, checked my gauges, scanned my mirrors. I saw nothing. What was that? But then it instantly returned to normal, or at least that's what I thought. About a half a mile later, I happened to glance in my left rear mirror and saw billows of smoke rolling out from under the axle of my back trailer. That wasn't normal. I pulled over, but it was too late. All 4 tires on the back axle of my pup were ruined and as deflated as my ego. This is what had happened. I'd been tooling down the highway, empty, and there was a piece of wood about an inch thick, about a foot or two long, lying on the road. As my trailer passed over it, the wind picked it up so that it came up. Just as my trailer went over it, it hooked the back brake line on that piece of wood. You could try to recreate this 1,000 times and you couldn't make it happen again. It was one of the strangest accidents I've ever seen. That piece of wood severed that brake line, broke it off clean. Well, the net effect was it instantly bled off all the air to that back brake line. And with the loss of my air pressure, the brakes locked up and turned the tires into smoke. I was stuck. I wasn't going anywhere. Well, with the help of a kind sheriff's deputy, we managed to move that 26,000-pound beast off the road. A phone call was made and a guy was dispatched from Les Schwab Tire in Idaho Falls to come out and rescue me. Well, I sat there in the cab of the truck waiting for this man to come, and I took stock of the situation. It was getting dark. The temperature was dropping. It was cold. Dark, heavy clouds hung over the valley. I was all alone. I was tired. All in all, it was setting up to be a pretty gloomy and depressing evening, not to mention expensive. I had just finished a cold supper of something I could find on the floor of my truck when the tire guy pulled up. Out of the cab stepped a very ordinary-looking fellow. I could tell by his clothes he too had had a long day of work. Nonetheless, he greeted me cheerfully. After seeing my blunder, I expected some comment from him about the loose nut behind the wheel. It never came. He didn't say a word. He went to work immediately. And while he worked, we chatted amiably. I made some comment about coming all the way out here to rescue me, and he just looked up at me with a grin and he let me know that he'd been on overtime for some time, but there was not the least impression that he was put out by having to come and rescue me. I thought to myself, I like you. I began to watch this guy and listen to him. There was not a word of profanity or vulgarity that came out of his mouth. In the whole time we were there, not only that, he never said a single negative thing about another person. He was positive, he was cheerful, quick to laugh, and there was a down-to-earth genuineness about him. He made some offhand comment about driving to church on Sunday. Now, it was not dropped as a lead-in to a proselyting pitch. It was a simple statement of everyday fact. Well, I made a comment, and when he learned that I was just a bit on the religious side too, he went on from there to share a sweet, faith-promoting experience that had happened to him and his wife. It was tender, inspiring, and a appreciate it. This is a good man, I thought. A very good man. Now you have to know, he was not trying to impress me. There was nothing to impress. He had no idea who I was, and I never told him. Once I was repaired, we shook hands, and I drove off, headed towards home. A few miles down the road, I took stock again. My mood and my attitude were completely different. I felt happy. I felt warm, cheerful. It was Rex. The Spirit of the Lord was with Rex. He had cheered my soul, strengthened my faith. A true disciple of the Master, in dirty clothes, changing tires on the side of the road. Is there a lesson there? Oh, you bet there is.